Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Tamera Gady. Actually, today is episode number 87 of The Closing Table with Lawyer's Title. I'm really excited about the guest that I'm going to have on the show today. Her name is Kristen Bullard. She is a friend of mine, but also a local florist and owner of Full Bloom Florist. And we're going to talk to her about her business right after this.
Welcome to The Closing Table with host Tamera Gady, where we break down how to be successful in real estate and what it's really like to work in the real estate business. This is The Closing Table with Lawyer's Title.
Welcome back again. I'm your host, Tamera Gady. Today's guest is owner of Full Bloom Florist, and her name is Kristen Bullard. That is a locally owned and women-owned business right here in Frisco, Texas. And I'm really excited to have Kristen on the show today. So thank you so much for joining me.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to be here.
I can't wait to talk about all things flowers. I mean, that's much better than talking about real estate right now. And we're going to talk about the holidays, which everybody likes to talk about the holidays, right? So, but I want to do a little backup because I'm going to tell the story of how we met, and then you're going to correct the story of how we met because that's what you do, which I think is hilarious. So I had just moved to Salina. This was in 2018, and my dad had come into town to see my new house and see Salina, and we were walking around downtown, and you had a storefront in downtown Salina at the time, and I saw you weren't there, but I saw you had writing on the window of the shop. And I needed a florist because I had just started in title, and we send floral arrangements from time to time.
Right.
And so I called you, and you told me that you were a woman-owned and a local floral business. And I said, well, I found my florist, right? And so that's how we took off. But
that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, that's how I tell the story. And then you correct me, so which I think is, again, hilarious. So you tell the story.
Okay, it went like this. I was in a very loud, crowded room, and I was at a luncheon, and you said, my name's Tamera Gady, and I need a florist. Do you want to be my florist? And I could...
That sounds like something I would say.
I only heard about 3 of those words and said, yeah, I'm a brand new florist. I mean, I'm wanting to do business. And yes, so I couldn't hear, was just totally saying yes to anything you said, and said, sure, can I call you back right after this luncheon? And you said, sure.
Yeah.
So there we went.
That's how it started. Yeah.
Yes.
And then okay, so let's start with my first question. What made you want to start your own business, and specifically a floral shop?
Very interesting. So I have a business background and actually have 13 years in mortgage, 3 years in real estate.
See, I always forget that.
I know. It's interesting. And so then the last 7 years prior to opening the business, I consulted small and medium-sized businesses. So with that, coupled with an entrepreneurial spirit, I definitely wanted to move into opening a business. And I have this... It's in my soul to connect people. So when somebody gets a flower arrangement, they go, oh, these are beautiful. And the very next thing they do is they reach for the card, and they want to see who it's from and what the card message says. And that's a human bond that's just, just human. And I love that. So, and of course I love flowers. Flowers are great, but they really serve as a conduit between human bonding. And that's very special for me.
Well, and I can tell that to be true because, you've kind of started plugging me into all things Salina also. I have a few friends that are working on that, right? Yeah. And so I'll meet up with you, and then there's like somebody comes in and another person comes in. They said to Taylor, Tamera, this is this person. Tamera, this is this person. And so before long, I'm going to know everybody in Salina.
Yeah. It's kind of a personal goal of mine too.
But let's see, when was it that you got the bigger space in Frisco? Because you're actually currently located in Frisco now.
We are. So the first year I was on the square in Salina back in 2018 and 19. And then we moved to the warehouse in Frisco on Rose Lane, of all things. I couldn't have planned that any better.
I know, no kidding.
But anyway, so we've been there 5 years.
Okay.
Yes, 5 years.
Has it been 5 years?
Thanksgiving weekend, I've been in business 6.
Wow.
So yeah, it was interesting. It's interesting. But I started with 1 unit. We added a second unit because of the growth. But that's the great thing about it. We can do large business for Valentine's or Mother's Day, but then also the 100 centerpiece events, the big events, and we have room to spread out. So that's nice. But believe it or not, people don't seem to care. We have a lot of walk-in business too, which is great.
That is great. I mean, and then something that I thought was really interesting. So when you go into the Cowboys Club now, we see your floral arrangements at the Cowboys Club.
You do. We do a lot. We do the private events. Maybe it's a private event, or maybe it's an anniversary dinner between two people, or maybe it's at the reception in maitre d', or during Easter, Mother's Day, the brunches. We do a lot of stuff for that. And so, yeah, that's really, it's really been meaningful for me personally to be able to do those.
I think that's great. Okay, so let's talk about, I think this is going to be an easy question for you. Let's talk about what the most important things are to you as a business owner.
Oh, yes. Well, I have a very high bar for customer service. Number one, to me, customer service is really been astonishingly missing through many decades. I mean, and for the most part, it's free. I mean, it's easy.
Yeah, great service is free.
Yes. And so customer service is by far and away paramount. Second of all is the quality of the design, as well as the freshness and quality of the flowers themselves. Nobody wants to get a dozen roses and have the roses dead 2 days later. That's
Nobody wants that.
terrible.
No, it's terrible.
And so I order everything from Ecuador, Colombia, and Holland. I work with those farms there, and a little bit out of California. But you can't get them any fresher than I do, which it's very common for us to get a phone call saying, oh my gosh, how did these roses last 2 weeks? And that's really important to me. I really like those phone calls because it's important. I started the business with the premise that just the golden rule. I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. Mm-hmm. And so customer service and longevity of flowers, it's a gift, it's an investment, and you want that to last. I want people to feel like they're getting more than their money's worth.
You know, it's really interesting that you talk about client service, because that is such a big deal in the real estate world, right?
Right.
Client servicing is how we all get to get and keep our clients, right? Is taking care of them. So there's a lot of synergy between small business owners like yourself and the real estate, and the real estate professionals that I work with all of the time. And in this industry, we do talk to realtors about you are the CEO of your own business anyway, right? So is there so much synergy in how you look at things and how realtors and other real estate professionals have to look at their business? And then to speak about the quality aspect of your bouquets, I have been intrigued because, and we've talked about this several times, I've never seen a bouquet last so long. I get a bouquet from you and it lasts over a week, over a week. I'm not talking about a week and a day. It's a week and a half later and that thing is still hanging on. And if you take care of it, which no spoiler alert, because that's one of my questions, but if you take care of it, it will last a week and a half to 2 weeks. And that is not a joke. That is a real thing. It's incredibly weird because I've never had bouquets last so long ever. And so I think that speaks to where you get the flowers, and then also how quickly you get them to the end user, if you will. So can you talk about the difference about the flowers that you get versus an online? You had a term for it. What was that term? Online wire
service.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, anytime you order directly from a florist, and it's hard to tell because they mask themselves very, very well, they're going to have the freshest product. So whether it's Full Bloom Florist or any other florist, they're going to have the freshest product. However, and again, it's hard to tell. So if it's a 1-800 or an FTD or Ava's or Ruth's Roses, and it's hard, they try to look very local, but they're not. And they keep all the money. They keep such a large percentage that the florist is losing money, but they want to keep their name out there and they want to do the business. But they're not sending out their freshest product. I mean, we personally don't, and I'm not trying to speak on behalf of other florists, but I mean, if I get a direct order from you, or somebody that's going to keep 60, 70% of the total cost.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get fresher flowers. I think that's just the way it is. But people don't understand that until they have a very bad experience. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I ordered flowers from them and they're terrible. Well, to be honest, they never have seen a stem. They're in another country just sending orders. They get them in and they send them out. They just farm them out to florists, and then they keep the majority of the money. And so nobody wants to work for free, or it costs them money. So it's just really important to call, no matter what. My bottom line, and I tell everyone this, of course we want your business. We want, we're a growing florist, but call a florist direct. Make sure they have a local phone number. If they have a local phone number, a 972-214 or whatever area code is specific to that area, and not an 800 number of some type, then you're getting a local florist, and it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice for everyone. I agree. So, and we do want to spend our money locally, right? I mean, I understand that there are the big businesses out there, but it is important to spend your money locally. Well, let me ask you this question. Okay. So I want to send flowers to my Aunt Liz that lives in North Carolina.
Right.
Do I call you?
You can. And I definitely want to take good care of you. So we can do one of two things. I'm not as, and let's take you out of it and say it's a strange, somebody I don't know. And they just call in and say, I want to send flowers. One of two things. Either I will look up and find them an excellent florist to call themselves direct.
Okay. In that
area closest to that address, or I will go ahead and take the order myself and babysit it and make sure it gets delivered, promptly.
That's really nice.
Either way, but it's not going to cost more money if I do that. It's just an extra service that I'll take care of.
Well, and that just kind of goes back to how important client servicing is to you, right? That you're going to take care of people.
Yeah.
Even if you aren't going to be able to capture and keep the business, right?
Right. Well, the thing is that if I take care of that for you or for someone else, then they're probably going to remember that because I did it, just to give that service.
Well, okay. So you came up with something I thought was really interesting for the holidays because look, when you look at real estate right now, there's not going to be a ton of big holiday parties. There's just not. Well, I mean, there's going to be holiday parties, but they're going to be a lot smaller and intimate again this year as they were last year. We didn't see the big mortgage companies and the big title companies and the brokers doing the big parties like we've always seen before. And that just kind of speaks to the economy and where, the state of where things are again this year. So you came up with another idea, your holiday gift guide, that I think it's a great alternative. It allows you to still touch on your clients or send something nice to your clients to have them remember you during the holidays, but also for them to use to celebrate the holidays. So Jesse, can you pull up the holiday gift guide? Thank you. So let's talk about this for just a second. Will you go through kind of the highlights or the logistics of the guide a little bit for us?
Sure, absolutely. And whether it's a company like a title company or whether the realtors want to send and touch their clients too, that's really, this is a great way to do that. So I just put up 6 options. You will see the unique, a little bit smaller arrangement, to hit a lower price point. And again, let me just start off by saying, Tamera, this is just 6 options. There's hundreds of options.
Right. You had to pick 6 for sure.
And we're absolutely going to customize to the price point and to what people want to do. So for example, there's not a blue and white arrangement on this sheet. Well, of course we can do that.
Of
so
course.
we can do anything.
Well, but wait a minute. There's not a poinsettia on this sheet, and that's on purpose.
It is. So that's the thing. Poinsettias are highly toxic to animals. And so we really try to help people steer clear. And I like a good poinsettia just like anyone else.
Yeah.
But the toxicity and so many people working from home, most people have an animal, whether it's a dog or a cat, and all it's going to take is for them to eat one. And
yeah, I didn't know they were toxic.
Yeah. So I'm not.
Peanut doesn't eat anything. Like he's not
tall enough to get on the counter.
Well, but I put him all around. I mean, he could reach some of them, especially the ones on the front porch, but he doesn't eat stuff. So
right.
He likes his chicken treats and sometimes he likes food.
Well,
you know,
listen,
So,
it could be 99% of the animals wouldn't touch them, but
yeah, but you
I'm
don't wanna
not
be-
going to let
That's right.
what, as a, whether it's business or a realtor or whether it's a mortgage or anyone, I'm just going to say, by the way,
Yeah.
look, I can get you 200 poinsettias in every color, but
those cactus plants, those are really pretty.
the Christmas
Yeah, I like those.
cactus
I love
are,
those.
I think they go through waves, but it's been a long time. That's a really unique gift. They're not over gifted. So it's fun to get something different and they last a long time. And if you have a really special green thumb, they will rebloom. So
I've had one for 3 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It blooms.
that's
This one blooms in January now, though. I'm like, hey man, could you get on the schedule a little bit here? You're supposed to bloom at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but that's one unique offering. Then the meat, cheese, wine, or fruit, doing a gift basket combination with like a small succulent plant or a small flower arrangement in with it, I think would be super decorative
That's
and
cute.
cool. Another one is a long and low centerpiece for the table.
That's a very traditional thing, but people do like it on their centerpieces.
It is.
And they're on their tables at the during the
They do. And this picture isn't, in my opinion, the best display. I mean, we can put ting ting in it and really make it festive.
I don't even know what ting ting is, but
Well, it's fun and glittery.
glittery.
I'll leave it at glitter. But there's all different kinds of things that we can do. Something heavily Christmas greens are going to last all through the Christmas season with pine cones and some ornaments. So we can do anything at any, I say any price point. Obviously, there's got to be a limit, but we can take an order of 100 different, 200, 300 different clients. So if an office wanted to pool together and get the discount, 10% off if the order is in by November 22nd. And we're also offering some other big deals and cutting the price on deliveries. So hot deals for making it super easy. An Excel spreadsheet and boom, there you go.
yeah,
You're
that's
done.
what I do.
We take care of the rest.
Yeah. I think, look, I think one of the most important things for me when it comes to ordering bouquets from you is I don't tell you what to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm very much a stay in my own lane kind of
Yeah.
girl. Like
You
I
are.
know what I'm an expert in and I know what you're an expert
Yeah.
in. And I don't try to tell you how to do what you do and you're not going to tell me how to do what I do. So I'm very much of a, like, here's what I need to do, who I need to send them to, Kristen. Could you just make them the best? And here's why. Number one, what the freshest, best thing is that you have in right now. I don't. Right? Like as far as what you've got received for your current flower order, what is the freshest and the best and that's sitting in your shop that you can put together and send to whoever I need to send a bouquet to. So if I tried to tell you, Kristen, I want this flower and this flower and this flower, then we're going to have a conversation. Okay, Tamara, well, those don't look as good as these do, right? So it's just better just to say, Kristen, could you just make it look good, And then you have a designer extraordinaire, Jen.
Jan.
We have to talk about Jen,
Yeah.
who always makes, like, I get pictures from people of like, oh my God, this bouquet is so pretty and look at what a great job they did and all of these things all the time. So I don't need to tell you how to put together the bouquet. I just need to say, this is where it needs to go and this is how much I have to spend.
Well, and that's really the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because what I will tell you is that I'm also a big gift giver and always have been. So I'm going to think about you and who you are and what, who you're sending to. And I'm going to put myself in your shoes. So if it were me personally sending these out, then I'm going to do it as if it were me. And so there's an added level of care that goes into what I select to come from you.
I agree.
And that's just how I do it with all my clients.
Well, and I think you just have to trust the people that you're working with, right? If you're not trusting the people that you're working with the wrong people. So I just send you, this is my list, and you make it look great. Make me look good. Make me look good.
That's
be your
my
tag
goal.
along. Okay, so how do people reach out to you to place an order?
So the best way to contact us is either the website, of course, on your own, www.fullbloom.shop.
Yep.
Or you can call us 469-200-5254. Or we also get a lot of text. Once you've done business with us,
Yeah.
you're going to inevitably end up with our the office cell phone number.
Right.
We will. You can text orders to us. Once we have an established an account for you.
Yeah.
Then people text us or their orders. Email us orders. I've got a big list for Veterans Day on Monday that I just got. In fact, it was texted to me this morning. So I've got like 20 names of people with the card message and all of the veterans going out on Monday.
Oh, that's
so
sweet.
we will literally do whatever is easiest for you to place an order.
Okay.
We are very accommodating in that way.
Yeah, you are.
People are busy. And
I know. I've sent you orders all
tell you
different kinds of ways.
I do. When I do place, for one company, I do bulk Christmas orders and it's all over the country. So I'm very particular and I have to call them. And I'm like, I'm a florist and I'm thinking, how have I been on the phone with them for 15 minutes just to place an order?
Yeah.
And I'm another florist. Like this should have taken 2 minutes. So I'm very impatient by nature. And therefore, when people call in, I want them to feel like, man, that was so quick. Quick and easy.
Quick and easy. That's right.
That's the way I like it.
Okay, so I want to talk because we have these amazingly gorgeous bouquets here. So let's talk about flowers for the holidays and what bouquets are best for the holidays.
Well, almost anything is great for the holidays. This one is showcasing a blue and white. So that's geared more
pretty.
towards Hanukkah. And that is, but it certainly is beautiful for corporate events. Blue and white's really standard, just very versatile.
I think
for
it's
the
very
holidays.
neutral too. Like you have to be careful in the client servicing industry that you're not one particular, like it's not Christmas or it's not Hanukkah. Sometimes you need something that's incredibly neutral, right? And so that's a really pretty bouquet for a neutral need.
So this is really a great bouquet for if they are having a corporate dinner or a company dinner, maybe not so much a huge party, but like a corporate dinner. We do a lot of work over at Del Frisco Double Eagle, their holiday parties for folks. And that's really nice to be able to have these on the tables. And unless they want their logo colors, we can certainly do those as well.
But you guys, you can't. There were a bunch of stinky boys in here recording their podcast before me, and you have no idea. You cannot smell this bouquet, but it smells so good. It smells so pretty right now. Like I just want to sit next to it because it just smells really nice.
Well, I can tell you that, yes, I can't smell flowers very much anymore.
I'm guessing you can't.
No, I can't. But I do like the way it looks, and it will freshen up the room. It
think it's
absolutely
beautiful.
will. It's fresh, airy, pleasant, not overbearing. I'm very, unless you request lilies. Some people are allergic. Some people have a negative connotation with lilies.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that because I'm not allergic to anything. So.
Some of our flowers can have an overbearing fragrance, and that's not really what we're going for. So this is more of a pleasant, just a compliment.
Just a nice
compliment the room,
smell.
not overpower.
Yeah. No, it's not overpowering the room at all. I think it's a beautiful. It's just the right amount of smell, and it's really beautiful.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So we just little behind the scenes switch out the bouquets. Look at this one. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So tell us what the special items are in here for this bouquet for the holidays, Kristen.
Well, one thing I love is everyone thinks of tulips as the spring. And so
They do. And I noticed that there's tulips in this one.
yes, I
like
love that we can incorporate tulips in the winter or in the Christmas season. Of course, the reds, and then offsetting that with some Safari Sunset. That's that burgundy flower that's a little bit taller in there.
This one right here.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm Vanna White with the show and tell.
Yes. And then, of course, the white stalk is the linear flower towards the bottom of the arrangement.
Yeah.
And that produces a really, really nice, fresh, pleasant scent also.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's not as robust. The smell isn't like the other one, like I said, wasn't overpowering in any way. But this one's more subtle for sure.
Yes.
The smell is more subtle.
And if this one is, it's more color, so it's a little more fun and festive. I can think of many different places that this would look great, but there's also this glitter. It's a tiny thin glitter. It's called Ting Ting. And
You talked about Ting Ting earlier. Where is it?
that it's not in there.
Oh, it's not
but
in there.
what I'm saying is that you could do silver, gold, or red. You add some of that in that arrangement, and it's just going to be beautiful. So it makes it, but it's more of a festive feel.
Sure.
So it adds that glitter, sparkle, and that's kind of the magic of Christmas.
I love it. That's so pretty. I mean, I love it just the way that it is. I don't mind that it doesn't have a lot of sparkle to it. I know holidays, it's all about the sparkle, but I kind of like the natural look of the bouquet. It has enough in it that makes it look very Christmas. you know?
And
You've
it's
got the
still
pine
elegant.
cone in the back, and then you've got the ornament down here. So there's touches throughout the bouquet that show that it is a Christmas bouquet. So
Yes.
I think it's beautiful.
Well, this one is, I would say, more elegant, and then adding the Ting Ting is kind of more fun, festive. So it can go either way.
No, they're gorgeous. Okay.
Thank you.
So I get my beautiful bouquet,
Yes.
and I want to make it last as long as possible.
Right.
How do we make it last as long as we can?
So the first thing you need to do is on about day 3, you need to change the water out.
Okay.
So that means pull all the stems out, hold them with one hand, dump the
I know,
water,
you gotta
swish
do
it
a little
around,
juggling.
and
Yeah.
then put in fresh water. And then before you put them back in, trim the ends of the stems.
Okay, wait a minute. I have a question about that because I've always heard you say that you need to trim, but on a bouquet like this, how do you do that?
Now, that's going to be a little more of a struggle.
Oh, okay.
So-
I didn't know if you had some magical.
I don't know. You would pretty much have to pull them out. Like you could maybe pull out the group of roses, or you could have some fun with it and pull them all out and make it your own.
Yeah, make it
yes, everybody has a vase at home.
That's
So
true.
You could
That's a
you
great
could
idea.
take those all out of that. It wouldn't look like that, but you could put it in a tall vase. Put water in that and then take these out and arrange them yourself. Everybody has so much creativity that they don't even realize they have.
That's a great suggestion. Okay, so we need to change the water at day 3. We need to trim the stems.
And it can be 1/4 of an inch, like not much.
Okay.
The stems get clogged, and when you give it a fresh cut, it will unclog them so they have more drinking power,
Okay.
drinking water.
Anything, but we get those little packets.
So
What do we think of those little food packets?
they're fine. And if you have some of those at home, you can certainly add them. So when we do some things at the shop. And one of the things is when you get an arrangement, it already has that. It's called preservative or flower food in there. That's in those packets, that powder.
Yep.
That's already in your water when you initially get it.
Okay.
So then from there, and then we do some other stuff to seal in the moisture to help with longevity. Additionally, with tulips, for example, if you have just a bouquet of tulips, you can put a couple of, seriously, pennies in the bottom of the.
Oh, I forgot about the penny trick.
Yes, the pennies in the bottom of the vase. It helps them stand up and they last forever.
Just with tulips?
Tulips are what love copper.
Okay.
So it's funny because tulips, I used to not like tulips. They didn't have a scent and they lasted 2 days. What's the point? I want more.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Tulips?
So now I'm okay with no scent, but I have them last 2 weeks with the copper pennies.
That's amazing.
Mhm. It's just 1 or 2, depending on how many stems you have. So that's a great way to do that. Hydrangea is another great trick for them. Hydrangea equals water. So you can literally, if you have a droopy hydrangea that looks like it's really like starving to death for water, put the head down in a bucket of water or in the sink, and it will literally drink through the top as well as the bottom.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So that's really fun. Those are just a couple of quick, easy tips that, but really changing out the water every couple of days. You watch the water and making sure the water is full. you get an arrangement with a lot of stems in it, it's going to drink a lot faster than you realize. So you really got to pay attention to the water level. That's really important.
I was just having that conversation. So one of my escrow officers, I'm not going to name her name, she got a big bouquet and it's in her office right now. And I was up at the office this morning and I was like, oh, well, she goes, look, my bouquet's still here. I was like, well, it's fading fast, sister, you know? And she said, yeah. And I said, but you know, and she said, I said, how long have you had it? And she said, well, not even a week yet. And I was like, well, you see what your problem is, don't you? The stems are here and your water level is here.
Right.
So you might do a little adjustment to bring the water level up.
If you want,
it's too late for this bouquet.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do a test on how fast your flowers can be gone, make sure they're out of water.
Okay.
They have to have water.
They have to have water. And you know, one other question I need your help with. What does one do with all the vases you accumulate from getting fresh flowers? Because I don't know.
That is such a great question. That is a great question.
Will you take them back?
We will. We will.
That's a good idea.
And we actually did a kind of a vase drive. We were trying to come out. I know. I should have asked you about that or said something to you. What we did was if you put them out on your front porch, we do it for like 2 weeks. And if you do it, put them out on your front porch and let us know. I'll just send a driver by to pick them up.
Well, that's good to know. So my best friend, she makes crafts and she's doing our first craft fair like next week. And which I want that to eventually just become our job where we sell crafts and not real estate anymore. Sorry, I love real estate. I love real estate. But anyway, so I text her, I'm like, you need any vases? And I just wrapped them all up. There's like 12 of them in 2 bags. And I'm going to take to her next week for crafts.
Well, what we do with them is we do reuse them. So it is a sense of recycling.
Okay,
I think that's important.
Yeah, I think it is important.
And definitely a lot of people are, I mean, we have some clients that get fresh flowers every week. So that means they have 52 vases in their house in a year. So we make it really as easy as possible. Like I said, whether they're in a box or a sack or just out, the driver will take care of it.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll text you or email Jen and let her know I've got a stack of vases for her next time. Okay. So I just want to put the beautiful flower arrangement on the screen one more time before we wrap up. Now, for you, for the audience out there, if you're you need to talk to Kristen for all your floral needs. Look at this gorgeous bouquet. You could have one too. You can't have this one, but you could have one too. And
I'll probably let you take that home today.
It's very beautiful. So thank you, my friend, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. We'll make sure that everybody has your contact information when we roll out the podcast. And like I said, I hope you guys will give Kristen an opportunity to earn your floral business as a locally owned and woman-owned florist. So that's a wrap on episode number 87. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gady, with the Closing Table with Lawyers title. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to talk to you about your title needs and make it a great day.